I'm Carolina, and here are 10 facts about United States lighthouses you may or may not have known. What is the oldest lighthouse in the United States? This isn't as simple of an answer as you may think. The first light station built in the United States was Boston in 1716, located on Little Brewster Island in Massachusetts. However, its lighthouse is not the oldest. That's because the original tower was destroyed in 1776 during the American Revolutionary War. It was later rebuilt in 1783, which is the current tower we see today. So which lighthouse is the oldest? That honor goes to Sandy Hook Light in New Jersey. The station was established in 1764. While the lighthouse has been renovated over the years, it has never needed to be rebuilt. Boston Light Station is the only lighthouse required to be manned. Since the lighthouse was the first to be built in the United States, it carries major historical significance. Preservationists were concerned that the light would be vandalized if the Coast Guard automated it and removed staff. So Senator Edward Kennedy presented an amendment that would require the station to always have a permanent human presence, which Congress passed in 1989. Even though it was eventually automated in 1998, the station was still staffed. Its most notable lighthouse keeper was Dr. Sally Snowman, the first female to serve at the station from 2003 to 2023. Only 12 United States lighthouses existed in 1789. When the United States government was formed that year, it took control of the 12 lighthouses that currently existed in the country, while others were still under construction. These 12 lighthouses included Boston, Sandy Hook, New London Harbor, Beavertail, and Great Point Lights. The Statue of Liberty is a decommissioned lighthouse. While the Statue of Liberty is seen as a symbol of freedom, it's also known as the Useless Lighthouse. It began operating as a lighthouse on November 22, 1886, its torchlight guiding mariners into New York Harbor. It was the first lighthouse in the entire country to be powered by electricity. Even though the statue was under the authority of the Lighthouse Board, they weren't huge fans of it. For one, the responsibility of the statue was kind of forced on them by President Grover Cleveland. Secondly, it wasn't designed to be a lighthouse. Its windows and openings were too small to effectively display light. On top of that, it took $10,000 to operate the light every year, which was a sizable chunk out of the board's budget, although this amount was reduced over the years. Even mariners complained about the statue's light being too dim to be of any use, so the War Department took over jurisdiction of the light and decommissioned it in 1902. The Statue of Liberty operated as a lighthouse for 16 years and only ever had one principal lighthouse keeper. United States lighthouses are divided into districts. To help manage lighthouse operations, especially as the number of lighthouses and navigational aids were growing, Congress divided the country into 8 lighthouse districts in 1838. Under the Lighthouse Board, the number increased to 12 after 1852. Each district was managed by its own inspector and Army engineer that lighthouse keepers reported to. The number of districts has fluctuated over the years. There used to be as many as 19, but under the control of the U.S. Coast Guard, the number has shrunk down to 9. Instead of being known as lighthouse districts, the Coast Guard refers to them as operational districts, especially as they manage other aids to navigation. Lightships still exist in the United States. You're thinking, wait, I thought we were talking about lighthouses. Well, we are. Lightships are floating lighthouses, deployed in areas where a lighthouse couldn't be safely constructed to mark a hazardous obstruction. These ships have an iconic red hull with the purpose of being easily spotted. There used to be around 179 lightships throughout the course of United States history, but the number shrank down due to ships being scrapped, destroyed, sunk, or replaced by modern technology. It's actually really tricky to know the exact number of ships that still exist. The common estimated numbers are from 12 to 22. After doing some of my own research, I know of 14 lightships that definitively exist in present day, no matter their condition. All lightships are no longer active, and most of them were converted into museums, while a small number of them are privately owned. Less than 35 Sparkplug lighthouses survive in present day. Sparkplugs are offshore lighthouses. Usually built on top of rocky ledges, reefs, or breakwaters, these towers are fabricated from cast iron on shore and then were assembled on site. The majority of these lighthouses are located in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states. Many of them still function as aids to navigation while also serving as educational centers. And of course, some of them are privately owned. Sparkplugs are also known as caisson lighthouses, as their towers sit on a metal or concrete structure known as a caisson. They've also been nicknamed coffee pot lighthouses, as their structures look similar to coffee percolators. Michigan has the most lighthouses of any state in the country. The estimated number is around 130 lighthouses, marking waterways and obstructions along its coastline. There's a mix of land-based and offshore lighthouses on the Great Lakes. The first lighthouse built in Michigan was Fort Gratiot in Port Huron. The tallest lighthouse in the United States is Cape Hatteras in North Carolina. The station first operated in 1803 as a 90-foot tall sandstone structure. It was built to warn mariners of Diamond Shoals, a dangerous 12-mile-long sandbar that wrecked hundreds of ships along the Atlantic coast. There were many complaints about the tower. It was too short to properly warn of the shoal, and it was poorly constructed. In response, Cape Hatteras was rebuilt in 1870 as a 198-foot tall brick tower. It takes 269 steps from the ground to reach the lantern room. The United States has the most lighthouses of any country in the world. Even though we know this, the exact number of how many lighthouses there are is hotly debated. It's generally agreed that there are over 700 lighthouses that exist. The most commonly quoted number is 779. The number fluctuates depending on the definition of a lighthouse. It also changes because lighthouses are still being destroyed, mostly by severe weather. Like in 2012, when Hurricane Sandy hit New York, it destroyed Old Orchid Shoal Light in New York Harbor. Back in the 1900s, there were even more lighthouses, over 1,200, marking harbors, waterways, and hazardous obstructions in the water, but not all of these lighthouses were active at once. It's reported around 1910, approximately 850 lighthouses were in operation at the same time. This is the highest number recorded in United States history. Did any of these facts surprise you, or did you know some of these already? If you know more, feel free to include them in the comments below. Thank you for tuning into these interesting facts about United States lighthouses. Join me next time as we continue to explore lighthouses and their history. Until then, happy lighthouse hunting!